Hey guys, welcome to Dating Woes podcast. This is your host, Nyambia Preely Ingram. Oh man, I can't believe we're already on episode 8. Oh my gosh. So, episode 8, I'm calling this one Mr. Thompson. Reason why I'm calling this one Mr. Thompson is because I still have respect for Mr. Thompson in a sense. But I guess I'll go in more detail of why I call him Mr. Thompson. But this is called Mr. Thompson. So without further ado, let me get started. So I met Mr. Thompson. I had been living in Alabama for about a year. I had moved back home. And it was like 2014-ish is when I met him. I happened to be actually shopping on a Sunday. I was in the mall looking for clothes because it was homecoming week for my school. And homecoming week, you gotta get dressed up and everything. So I was at Macy's looking for outfits. So I had just parked my car and I was walking to Macy's and this guy passed by me. He was a pretty attractive man. He walked past me, had a cap on, looked good. He passed by me and we both locked eyes and smiled at each other. He said hi, I said hi, and I kept going. But he stopped and he came back and was like, hi, I noticed you a few moments ago and I feel like I had a connection with you, how are you doing? And I'm just like, hey. And I'm on a mission, at this point, so I'm just like, hi, like, you're stopping me from going to get this outfit, what's up? And, he was just like, hey, I know this is like very random and all, but, I'm gonna introduce myself. So he introduced himself and everything. And I introduced myself and he was like, hey, I'm in town right now. And what's really bummed is today's my birthday. And I was like, oh no. So I was like, happy birthday. Why are you by yourself? And he was like, yeah, I'm by myself. And I was like, oh no, that sucks for your birthday. He was like, yeah, I had a job I had to do here, so I had to come up here. And I was like, oh, where you live? And he was like, I live like further south. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we, exchanged pleasantries and everything. And then he was just like, hey, would you like to come out with me to dinner with me? And I was like, okay, like, when? He was like, how about tonight? He was like, today's my birthday and I don't have anyone to celebrate my birthday dinner with. And I want to know if you want to come. And I was just like, I was like, this is like very spur of the moment. I don't know this man. And I'm like, you want me to go to dinner with you? And I'm just like, but he was cute. So I was like, well, I mean, this is like very random. And I'm like, I'm a very spontaneous person. That's part of my zodiac sign of being an Aries, is we're very spontaneous. So that like intrigued me a whole lot, right? So I was like, okay, let's do this thing. So I was like, well, I'll meet you in a second. Let me finish shopping. He was like, well, actually, he was like, you want to go to an early dinner? He was like, I'm actually kind of hungry now. Are you hungry? And I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, hey, it's Sunday. Still got football games on. Let's go to like a sports bar and stuff and let's go eat and have a good time. And I was like, cool, sounds good to me. So at first I was just like, okay. So I was like, let me go get in my car. Definitely I don't know this man from Adam or anything, so let me go figure this out. So I called my friends and a few of my relatives, my sisters and everybody. Was like, hey, this guy wants to take me out to dinner. I just met him, he seems really cool, but I don't know, we'll figure this out. So they was like, well, make sure you get all his information, let us know where you're going and everything. So I took a picture of his tag because I followed him because he knew what restaurant he wanted to go to, so I was behind him. So I took a picture of his tag, texted all his information and what he gave me to like everybody to make sure, buddy check. You got to do buddy checks. There's one thing about dating that I've been very safe about is I will give all the information out, like, hey, this is where I'm going to be. This is how the times I want to be. If you don't hear from me, this is where you need to start first with the police. I've always done this no matter what, just in case something happened, at least having the information to start with. So, I go with, I go on to say, like, we hung out. We had an amazing time. That was actually one of the best first dates I've ever been on to this day, that we had so much fun. I've never laughed so hard. I found out he was a really cool guy. Turns out he was like 17 years older than me. So that was like, ooh, that's, that was like a lot. I was still in my 20s at the time. I was like 28, 29 or something. So I was young still. He was in his 40s. So I'm just like, ooh, late 40s too at that. And I'm just like, oh, this is a big age difference here. And he had at the time like a 17-year-old and he had a son that was like pretty young too as well. So he had 2 kids, and I'm just like, oh man, this is gonna be interesting. I was like, this is cool. So, we of course exchanged more information, and he was like, I would definitely want to, hang out with you more when I come back into town. And I was like, sure, let's do this. So I would say over a span of a few months, like we actually had so much fun together. He was an OTR truck driver, so you know OTR means they're on the road. So they transport like large items, large things, and they get paid really well too. They're paid very well. And that was my first time really dating a truck driver. So I actually got a chance to ride in an 18-wheeler, and I got a chance to spend a night in an 18-wheeler and all these other things, because you know I always wanted to do it, got a chance to drive it. It was pretty cool. You know, it was a cool experience just to see how they live on the road and stuff. But I would say like I didn't notice anything about him pretty much, because you know he was heavily involved in my life. He was around my family. He met my grandmother, which is a big thing. For someone to meet my grandmother, that means that I'm in a serious relationship with you if you've met my grandmother while she was alive. So he met my grandmother. My grandmother actually liked him. She would always ask about him, like, what's Frederick doing? Or what's he doing? What he doing? You know, she would always ask questions or whatever. So it was cool, you know, in a sense of everything. And then I would say fast forward, we've been together for almost about 6.5 months or so. And he was like, hey, you know, what are we doing for Valentine's Day? And I was really trying to think of like what I wanted to do for Valentine's Day, because we've been pretty romantic with a lot of different things. You know, he will always bring me flowers, and you know, we'll always go out to great restaurants. I had to go to do some training for my job, and he came with me, and we had a great time in Tunica. We went to Memphis. I had a great time downtown Memphis. We went out of town a couple other places. So we had a lot of fun. So Valentine's Day was coming up, and I was like, hey, like, let's go to Gatlinburg or something. Let's do a cabin, because I've always wanted to do like a cabin romantic kind of thing. So he was like, sure. And plus he was also in the military, so he got a military discount. So we got the cabin and everything, and we drove out to Gatlinburg, which is a few hours from Alabama. And you know, Tennessee is very beautiful. The cabin was gorgeous. Oh my gosh, the cabin was so nice. It was 3 stories, had a jacuzzi, had a hot tub, had a movie theater. It had 3 bedrooms. So it was actually big enough for like more than one couple, but you know, it was just us in there, which was pretty cool. So, you know, we stopped at the grocery store. We got lobster tails, we got steaks, we got breakfast, we got lunch, we got dinner, we got everything we wanted, you know, because we were going to be in there. We weren't really going to go into town that much. So we went and got like all this food. We got all this alcohol and everything. And, you know, we had a beautiful time up there. We ended up like going, of course, into town in Gatlinburg. You know, they have the Ripley's Believe It or Not museums, and they have all the cool little ride things that are there, and just fun things to do in the city. We had a really great time, I would say. We got snowed in on the last night. It got a lot of snow in the mountains, so unfortunately we had to stay an extra night. Power went out. It was crazy, but you know, we had devices, so we were able to watch movies and stuff on our phones and our tablets and stuff, which is cool. But you know, we had a great time. So by the time we got back, you know, I posted a lot of pictures. You know, I'm a very social media kind of person, and you know, he wasn't per se. So he posted like a lot of pictures and everything. And you know, everybody was talking about how cute my outfits were, how, you know, we look so cute. Glad I got somebody that's really good. You know, everybody was giving me all these compliments and stuff, and I was, you know, I was feeling good too, because I had just had a wonderful time with the guy that I really am attracted to. One thing I will say is I'm gonna go off topic just a little bit, but when my dad said he met him, he said he felt like Bill Cosby was on a Bill Cosby show, but Vanessa brought the old guy home that she had married, and my dad said he felt like that. Because he said it felt like that, he would feel like Bill Cosby that time, so he know what that moment was now. But that was like a little story. But basically, when we got back, everything I thought was good. You know, I didn't have any problems and stuff. And then like he got kind of quiet, which was weird for him to not really respond to text messages and phone calls and stuff. So I didn't hear from him, which was kind of weird. And I'm just like, what's going on? Like, maybe he just not in an area that he doesn't have really good service or something. Like, I don't know what's going on here. So then I would say it was like about 4 days after our trip. We got back, I'm at work, and I'm receiving messages, and he's just like, yeah, like, why did you post those pictures for us for our Valentine's Day trip? And I'm just like, I've always post pictures of anything that we've done. What are you talking about? And he was just like, you shouldn't have done that. And I'm just like, what? I was like, this is the first time I'm ever hearing him being highly upset about me not posting something. And I'm just like, we're together, we're in a relationship. Why wouldn't I post something? It doesn't make any sense to me. So long story short, turns out I was his like stopover type situation, because he told me he had been in a relationship with a woman that was before me and that they were engaged, but she broke the engagement off. So I thought they were over, and he never really mentioned her at all whatsoever. He never said he really talked to her at all whatsoever. So at the time, I was like, really caught off guard that he was saying that I shouldn't have posted the pictures and stuff, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Well, it turns out his ex had found out about me, and she went to my Facebook and my Instagram and stuff, and pretty much was kind of stalking me in a sense, and saw the pictures. So then of course she sees that he's in a committed relationship with somebody else. So then that's when she's like, I want you back. I want to be back with you. Do you still love me? And at the time, of course, he thought about me being so young. I'm 17 years younger, and she's like his age when she already got kids and everything else, and she can't have anymore. So it's one of those things, like, he made a decision, and at the time I was really hurt with the decision, because he kind of threw me off guard, because I thought we just came back from an amazing weekend. But he was like, he didn't want any more kids at the time. He was getting older, and he realized that I was very vibrant, and I definitely wanted that. So we weren't on the same page when it came to those kind of things. So he went with the older lady, of course, because he still had feelings for her, and he still loved her. And like I said, they were engaged at one point in time. So he broke up with me. And it wasn't even in person or anything. It was literally like through text messages. That's another reason why I was kind of upset too, because like, you couldn't even be a man and break up with me in person or not and just tell me what was going on. He was very hush-hush about the whole situation. I had to figure things out for myself. I went through like, I was really depressed a little bit, because I was just like sad, because it really threw me off guard that he like literally come back from an amazing weekend and he breaks up with me like a few days later. I'm just like, dang. I was like, that's crazy. But I will say now that we're still friends. He, of course, is divorced from her now, and a whole long story with that situation. But I found like this is so crazy, because literally we went from like this amazing time to like breaking up with me a few days later. So I would say that's the Mr. Thompson story. So I call him Mr. Thompson because, like I said, he's 17 years older. So definitely thanks for listening. This, of course, is the Dating Woes podcast. You can follow us online at Dating Woes. You can hit me up at www.datingwoes.com. You also can follow me on IamBeTheGreat.com, or IamTheGreat is my social media. Thank you so much for listening, and until the next episode, you all have a blessed day. Peace!